Good evening and welcome to KRNU2's only, and it's not only because I know a new show started today, but best source for football news. This is the Second String. I'm your host, Nate Mielbach, and joining me is Alex. Pretty good, Fernando.
Pretty good?
Yeah, you're pretty good. You're not great.
So we have the best show, but I'm just pretty good?
Yeah, I make the team.
Oh my gosh.
You're a complimentary player. Listen, there's nothing wrong with that.
Not at all. So you think you're quarterback or something?
No, you're quarterback, but I'm the star receiver and defensive back.
Oh my goodness. Just because you got a pick six in flag football the other night doesn't make you a star defensive back.
Yes, it does, and don't tell yourself any different. Well, regardless of whether or not any of us are good at football, which we're not, we're going to here to talk to you about the other good football, that is college football. We have some good games today. We're going to go over the games of last week. There are some good ones. We're going to go over the Nebraska game from last week. We're going to preview the not so good one. And we're going to preview the Nebraska game for next week.
Let's do that quickly as well.
Yes, and then today I thought, since the slate of games is so interesting, I thought we'd do a little grab bag, a little surprise each other. Just answer some questions about football, college football, sports in general.
Pull out some crazy topics.
We'll see. We'll try. I don't know if we can do it in the skin of our teeth, but we'll make an attempt. Well, let's start out with the games that just began last week. We got some good ones. You and me both agree that this is the one we had to talk about first.
Oh, yeah. Game of the week by far. Iowa State upsetting number 3 Oklahoma on the road in Norman. Honestly, if it was in Ames, I was going to pick the Cyclones outright. But in Norman, I thought Oklahoma can handle this at home. You know, I mean, they'll be down a little bit. Iowa State always plays up to its opponents like that. But the Cyclones come away with a 38-31 victory with a backup walk-on quarterback, Nate.
I was shocked. I forgot the name of their starting quarterback.
Kyle Kemp.
Oh, no, that's the backup.
Parks.
Parks, yeah.
He's taking a leave of absence from the team, from what I heard, actually.
Rumor that I heard was that he was caught with drugs and suspended that way.
Oh, boy, okay.
But that's only an online rumor. Literally no sources to that, so don't take my word for it, but it's what I heard. But Kyle Kemp was amazing. 18 for 24, 343 yards, 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions in Norman. That's not an easy place to play.
No, not at all. No Big 12 team wants to go to Norman and try to take on these guys. But it was a lot of fun watching this team because the Cyclones didn't care. They knew they were the underdogs.
Yeah.
They're the underdogs in almost every game they play. But they came in with a purpose. They caught Oklahoma sleeping a little bit. I mean, Baker Mayfield and the Sooners probably looking a little bit ahead to Texas and the Red River rivalry this week.
I would be guessing that.
But still, I mean, you got to protect your home turf. You can't let Iowa State waltz in and just come on with the upset. Oklahoma severely getting hurt with their playoff push now. A loss to Iowa State never helps.
I don't know if I would say it's severely hurt, but I mean, they definitely didn't improve their playoff position. But if they win out and win the Big 12, they're still in a pretty good spot. They're still in a pretty good spot to win. I do not doubt they still have that win over Ohio State.
Yep.
So if they both win out, Oklahoma's going to get on over Ohio State. And I think Ohio State's the best team in the Big 10. So it's not impossible for Oklahoma to make it. They just still got to run the table, which is very possible.
Very tough to run the table, though. I mean, they're going to be at Oklahoma State. They'll have TCU and West Virginia both at home, as well as Texas Tech. But then they still have to play the new Big 12 championship. So
I would have faith in them. If I was a betting man, I'd put money on Oklahoma. But the real problem for Oklahoma is their defense, and I thought their defense looked good earlier in the year. Against Ohio State, I thought they played really well, but their secondary is very inexperienced. I know they have a lot of younger players starting back there.
Yeah, they're actually 80th in the nation with pass defense right now, giving up 232 yards a game on average.
Ugh. I mean, cliche, but you don't win very many games with that.
No, but I mean, and again, letting a backup quarterback come in and throw for 343 through you. And also, one player that really impressed me for Iowa State, the Superman, Joel Lanning. He's been a quarterback for them the last couple years, switched to linebacker this year, was second on the team in tackles with 8 tackles total, 4 solo, a sack, a tackle for loss, and a forced fumble, or a fumble recovery, apologies.
Wow.
But also played quarterback for them, 2 for 3 passing, 25 yards, pretty simple there, but was in on a lot of wildcat formations, had 35 yards rushing.
Nine rushes for a linebacker. That's
Again,
absurd.
I mean, he's played he's played quarterback for them for the past couple seasons, so he's used to that spot. But do-it-all guy for Iowa State, very key weapon for them in this win.
Yeah, it was. It's always fun to see. Northwestern had a player like that a few years back, where the guy just did everything, and it's nice to see somebody that can really play both sides of the field.
Definitely, and the way I saw them using Lanning is mostly on those like third and short. You want to get a first down, keep that drive alive, and Oklahoma just couldn't stop it. Up front, they were getting knocked back a couple yards. Their entire defense kind of on its heels the entire game. Iowa State really brought it to them and got in with a really great offensive game plan. Stuck with them the whole time, never really wavered, and just always kept it close enough to eventually take the lead.
Yeah, for Oklahoma, you just really got to work on being prepared to get hit in the mouth. I mean, Ohio State really shocked them, and they didn't. Oklahoma State just didn't look like they were ready for the Cyclones, and it was a good win for them. Iowa State, they're looking to get bowl eligible again. I think they have a pretty decent shot to do it. In Oklahoma, that just needs to get back into it.
The Cyclones are already 3-2. They got Kansas coming up this week, which is probably a guaranteed win. The back half of their schedule is a little bit heavier. They got Texas Tech on the road, West Virginia on the road, Baylor and Kansas State on the road, and then Oklahoma State and TCU at home. But
they're
known for their upsets.
I mean, I'd pencil Kansas and Baylor in as a win. They just got to find a way to beat Texas Tech's a good team, but if they beat Texas Tech or Kansas State,
maybe, yeah. And I mean, hey, if Kempt plays like this, they could probably beat anybody in the Big 12.
I think so too. It's a good win for them, and both of these teams probably are going to be tough. They're going to be tough outs the rest of the season.
Speaking of tough teams, let's look up north. The battle for Paul Bunyan, Michigan State and Michigan Spartans coming away with a big victory in the Big House.
Hail Sparty! I don't know if that's the correct terminology.
I don't know. I don't pay too much attention to Michigan State.
The rain game, though.
Oh, my gosh, yeah. We might want to start paying attention to Michigan State. 4-1, a close loss to Notre Dame, but...
Close. It wasn't that close, but...
No, but it was still, I mean...
It was a reasonable loss.
Yeah, but regardless, Spartans are 2-0 in conference play. They just knocked off the number 7 team at home, and... I mean, again, not much offensive production from either team, but a very, very tough defensive performance on both sides.
It's tough to analyze rain games because they really can't tell you much about both teams. You look at the Notre Dame, North Carolina State game last year. That was a whole different class of rain game. But
that's a hurricane.
You look at both of these things. You're just like, I can't really tell if it's a good team. Is Brian Lewerke good? I think he's good, but he didn't really have too much in the way of stats. Is John O'Korn bad? Yes. I'm actually going to say that for a fact. He is pretty bad, but it's tough to know when he has to force passes in the rain, and the offensive game plan for Michigan was as poor as it was into the rain. It reminded me of Brian Kelly in the Hurricane game last year. You just look at the passes being thrown, and you're like, Harbaugh, what are you doing? Run the football.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely hard to analyze that, and you don't want to put many balls in the air when it's so wet and windy. It's hard to get a grip on the passes, but that's why Michigan State won the game. They ended up with 158 yards rushing, 61 of them from Lewerke at quarterback.
Yeah, like I said, I'm pretty sure Lewerke's a good quarterback.
Yeah, much more option style. I'm not entirely impressed with his passing. And this game, 50% doesn't really say much because of the rain, but overall, I think offensively, Michigan has a lot of issues.
They have a lot of issues basically revolve around their quarterback spot, I think. John O'Korn is not the worst backup. Willen Spate is done for the season. It was confirmed earlier this week.
Okay.
3 broken vertebrae.
Oh,
He's
God.
done.
Yeah, he might be done for more than just a season after that. That's rough.
Maybe.
Hopefully a speedy recovery from that. It's a tough injury.
Yes, but John O'Korn is the quarterback of the future, and it spells trouble for Michigan's season. I mean, John O'Korn, he's lost the job at Houston, transferred to Michigan, lost the job at Michigan for a reason.
Yeah.
He's
not very good.
He's not. He won't be able to get it done. If you're Michigan, you're looking at games versus Penn State. You're looking at a game at. Is it either at or against Wisconsin? You're looking at a game against Ohio State, and you're thinking, I don't think we're better than these 3 teams.
Yeah, and their next couple games. I mean, at at Indiana, at Penn State, back-to-back road games. Indiana plays some tough defense.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they're very opportunistic against teams like that. So he could easily throw a couple picks and get some sacks there. They're at Wisconsin right before they go to Ohio State at the end of the year.
Yeah, at Wisconsin.
I mean, their defense can only do so much for them.
Yes. I don't know. It'll be a rough. I think it'll be a rough month for the Wolverines. I mean, I wouldn't get mad at Harbaugh or anything. He's still a dang good coach.
I know everybody's flipping out and saying like we got to get rid of Harbaugh, and
I mean that's anybody who's doing that. Don't listen to him. Harbaugh's one of the best coaches in the country.
Yeah, I wouldn't be buying into like Harbaugh being one of the guys to get rid of. Yeah, he's struggled a little bit in rivalry games, but they're rivalry games. You can't predict those.
Yeah, it's fine. They've been tough games. He won. He went 10-2 and 10-2, and he was like 3 inches from the national title playoffs. Not national title game. He was about 3 inches from the playoffs last year. Harbaugh is fine. He is not overrated. He is very properly rated. So stop talking about that.
Yeah, I definitely wouldn't be getting rid of him.
And Michigan State, they're a team to watch. They're not going to be an easy out for any team that play them. Iowa found that out last week. Michigan found that out this week. And if you're a team like Penn State or Ohio State,
you got to be careful.
You got to be careful.
Yeah, they keep games very tight. I mean, 17-10, 14-10 their last 2 games. So, I mean, could go either way on the couple of sides, but they do get Penn State at home.
Yeah, I'm excited for that one. That'll be a good game in the Big Ten. Let's move to our next game. This is the West Virginia Mountaineers versus the TCU Horned Frogs, the 8 versus 23 matchup, and the TCU took it 31-24.
Honestly, very impressive quarterback play from both sides. Will Grier had a little bit more impressive stats, 366, 3 TDs, and 1 pick. Kenny Hill, 188 pass yards and a touchdown, both around 50, a little over 50%. But the run game, very solid for both quarterbacks, and I think just kind of out-dueling each other. That was the big thing. Kenny Hill had the nice, fun trick play. They passed it back to him, spun around a guy for a big 49-yard touchdown. And in the end, it was, again, very back-and-forth game, 31-24. I kept seeing it get tied up by both teams. So, very tough-fought game. West Virginia's a team to watch. But TCU, I was surprised their defense didn't step up a little bit more. Usually, they did pick off Grier, who's hard to do. But they gave up a little bit more yards than I was expecting from TCU's defense.
Yeah, but if you're TCU, against a team like West Virginia, who runs a tough defensive front, they have a few good defensive players back there. I'm not shocked that it was a shootout. These two teams usually play very strong, very well.
Oh, definitely.
Will Grier impressed me. Kenny Hill, he game manages very well, I think. He's not exactly Kenny Trill, but
Kenny Trill is no more, Nate. Kenny Trill he's gone. It's all Kenny Hill now. He's kind of got his head on right, and he's making a new name for himself at TCU.
Yeah, it's just a good game. It was a well-fought game. Both of these teams are good. West Virginia's going to need to look to rebound, but TCU wants to continue that playoff discussion undefeated.
Honestly, they could. They probably have one of the best shots in the Big 12 to do that. At Kansas State, Kansas, and Iowa State, and Texas for their next 4 games. So all very winnable games over their next 4. The last couple at Oklahoma, at Texas Tech, and Baylor. So it could get tough kind of towards the end, but they've gotten over a couple of the big hurdles already with Oklahoma State and West Virginia unscathed.
Yeah, just a game against OU. That's kind
maybe a shootout with Texas Tech. Yeah. They can put up points.
Texas Tech, Texas. I mean, it's looking really good. Pencil in that game against the Sooners.
Yeah, for sure.
It'll probably be a big one in deciding the Big 12.
Well, again, they have to play the new Big 12 championship and have a rematch from one of these games. So
let's go into a few quick hitters here for our final.
Me, pick me.
Okay, Alex. You're up first.
Yes, Western Michigan and Buffalo, 71-68, 7 overtimes. How can you not love a game like this?
I was on the road all day. I didn't see it.
Oh my gosh, I got the update and I went and watched the highlights immediately. Just insane numbers. 1,328 combined offensive yards in this game. Again, 7 overtimes. There were more points scored in overtime by each team than there were in the regular part of the game.
Yeah. I mean, no kidding. It looked like a basketball score. I checked my phone, and I was like, what? Like, what?
What's even funnier is Western Michigan's basketball team scored less than 71 points 12 times last year.
The basketball team wishes they could be the football team.
Yeah. I think just the craziest thing with this game, Western Michigan did come away with the win. Almost lost it because the sister of one of the tight ends ran out and celebrated a TD with her brother in the first overtime when Western Michigan was trying to tie it and got a penalty for the team. Almost made them miss the PAT or had to move the PAT back a little bit. That could have been dangerous.
I saw the highlight and I was like, that can't be a sister, right? Like, that's just got to be some random girl that ran on the field. And you say it's her sister. I can't believe it.
Oh my gosh. The funniest part about it, when they were escorting her off the field, she had to go to her mom and get the car keys so she could go wait in the parking lot.
Oh my gosh. It was it was just a shootout. The kind you don't see. Is the first 7 OT game since 2004?
Something like that. Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah, it's amazed Arkansas wasn't involved in it, but
yeah, probably. But also record-breaking 139 total points for a college football game.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I remember watching Oklahoma and Texas Tech last season. That was like a 4 or 5 overtime game. Crazy shootout, just points and yards everywhere. And these two teams, I think they either topped it or matched it. So it was pretty impressive.
Yeah. All right. For my quick hit, I'm going to go with Miami, snapping that losing streak to Florida State.
Wow.
Florida State's not a good team. Let's just say that up front. But for Miami, they got to exercise those demons. It's going to be hard to beat a team that you feel like you've lost that mojo against. And Miami really did. Malik Rozier, 19 for 44, 245 yards, 3 touchdowns.
Not the most efficient, but he made passes when he needed to. And I think that sideline play at the end of the game, the back shoulder fade to kind of win it, beautiful throw. On the other side, Blackman looked really good. He's given his team as much of a chance as possible. He doesn't have help.
He's a good quarterback. He's a good young quarterback. Problem is, he's skinny. He's not going to last. He's going to get hurt.
Well, with that offensive line, I think everybody back there will get hurt.
Yeah, but Blackman's especially lanky.
Yeah, I mean, he's a true freshman. He wasn't expecting to have this role right now.
Yes,
but
truth.
Watching him in this game, I just thought it was really impressive. He made some freshman-like moves and made some kind of bad passes, or like just not quite hitting his mark. But there were some, honestly, NFL-caliber passes where he'd fit it in between a couple defenders, right on the sideline or right over the top of a guy. So he'll be a quarterback to watch over the next couple seasons. Bulk him up in the weight room a little bit. I don't know. He could help Florida State get back on top pretty quickly.
Yeah, I think so too. It'll be an interesting. Yeah, it's like that. There's a lot of good games this week. I really did enjoy it. It was a really fun game, even though I wasn't able to see most of them because I was out. It was just a super fun weekend. Next, we're going to transition to the Nebraska game, but first
Can I hit one quick hitter?
Okay, sure.
Wazoo at Oregon, I'm telling you. Watch the Cougars up in the Pacific Northwest.
They're good.
I mean, Oregon had their quarterback, Justin Herbert, out. But Royce Freeman, they held him to only 62 yards.
Easy to hold him to yards when there's no passing threat.
Still, Wazoo's defense is much better than they normally look.
Yeah, well, we've covered Wazoo before last week where they upset USC.
They're looking better.
I think they are too. It'll be good. All right, coming up next, we're going to discuss the Nebraska game. Things we liked, things we hated, things we were okay with. But first, we're going to take just a little break. See you in a little bit.
In seconds. Bike ride, go fish, walk in the park, phone call, milkshake, play catch, picnic, fly a kite, tell jokes, laugh, talk, read a story, tell a story, bumper car, swing set, bowling, pillow fight, cut loose, stay tight. Whew. Because the smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Take time to be a dad today. Call 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
I'm Steve Clements, businessman and cyclist.
I'm Jeff Blymeister, Chief Deputy Sheriff and cyclist.
Riding on roads can be dangerous when motorists are not cautious. A year ago, I was hit by a car while biking in the county.
Cyclists have a legal right to use the road, and drivers must give them at least 3 feet of space. It's the law.
Cyclists should wear helmets, be highly visible, and use lights after dark.
We can share the road safely.
Learn more at lincoln.ne.gov.
Imagine never being able to drive, to watch TV, or even read Harry Potter. Reading is essential to our lives. City Impact Reading Center helps Lincoln Public Elementary Schools boost their students' reading scores by getting all students at or above their grade's reading level. Each week, volunteers of all ages go sit and read with students. You can help a student gain an important life skill and help change their future. If you're looking for some rewarding volunteer experiences, please visit their website at cityimpact.org.
Hello and welcome back to the Second String. I'm Nate Milwaukee with Alex Fernando. How about we talk about the sad day,
Oh my gosh.
the sad night.
It was so much fun being in the stadium.
I heard the crowd
atmosphere was unbelievable. Everybody followed the blackout pretty well.
I saw the pictures. I was like, "There's no way this is gonna happen."
It just felt like Nebraska was gonna pull this off and pull the upset. I was so mad. We haven't lost a home night game since 1998. That streak's broken now. Oh my gosh! Coming into this game, I really felt like Nebraska could do it.
Yeah.
Not just because of my implicit bias, but simply just because Nebraska at home under the lights, you just know that's going to be a good game.
Yep. Wisconsin did take it over the Huskers, 38-17. It was just a rough game for the Huskers. Now, instead of just rambling for 40 minutes like we know we would do, we like to do a little, I wouldn't call it game, but a little segment.
A little structure.
Yeah. First, we're going to go over what impressed us. It's a positive category. Secondly, we're going to go over what we expected, a neutral category, positive or negative. And then third and finally, we go over what needs improvement. It's a more on the downside of things.
Yeah.
So let's start off with our positives. Alex, what impressed you this game?
What impressed me, apart from just one play, was the first half defense for Nebraska. The Blackshirts have been playing very well over the last few games, have not given up many points. Tanner Lee has technically given up more points. And apart from the 75-yard run for a touchdown by Jonathan Taylor at the end of the half, Nebraska was playing very solid defense through that first half and into the third quarter quite a bit too. And it just kind of fell apart towards the end. We'll get there, but I just think that improvement has been starting to carry it over. You saw it early in this game. You saw the Huskers holding down the fort pretty well on defense, stopping the run a decent amount. The Badgers had a couple drives, but they forced a couple punts. They just kind of held them. They kept it close in that first half. They kept it 10-0 basically all half. And it gave Nebraska's offense a chance, which we'll kind of get to on where that went. But a lot of people might look at the score and automatically blame the defense.
Yeah.
You look at the second half, might be blaming the defense. I want to take some of that blame away. The defense played very, very strong. Wisconsin's just a team that wears you out, and I think that's eventually what happened. But overall, I was impressed with the play of our defense, especially in the first half.
I don't know if I'm that as impressed with the defense as you are, but
It's progress, Nate. It's progress from before.
I don't know. And I know we knew this was going to happen.
We did.
We did. You don't play the two worst teams in the Big Ten and go, "Yep, our defense is fixed. We're completely finished."
No, not at all. I mean, I expected Wisconsin to get their yards. I expected them to be a tough team and move the ball on us at times. But just, again, they're better than they were to start the season, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And containing Jonathan Stewart for a while, at least.
A while. Yeah, they played okay.
They
kept
us in the game that first half. I mean, if Wisconsin would have played like they did in the second half, it easily could have been 50-0 in the first quarter,
and I think
first half. So
some of that rests on our defense too, for getting tired in this.
Oh yeah, but when your defense is out there for basically the entire fourth quarter, I don't know if you know this, Nate. Nebraska ran 6 offensive plays in the fourth quarter. 6.
It's not
the
good.
entire quarter.
That's rough.
Let's get off the defense. We'll lay off them for a little bit.
For like a segment.
What did you liked the most out of the game from what you rewatched and heard?
I thought Tanner Lee was pretty good.
Yeah?
Nothing great, but I thought he was good. 16 for 32, 262, one touchdown, one interception, pick six.
Of course it's a pick six.
When I say he impressed me, I don't know if I really mean it in that way, but I thought he played good. It's tough to say because I don't even really think he played that great of a game. I just think he played good enough as a quarterback that I think we could have won it. There were a lot of drops.
Yeah.
He had a lot of passes that were just very well defended by Wisconsin.
The pick six was off of Zigbo's face mask too. He probably should have caught that.
I give it partial credit to both. Like it was
I give
not
partial credit to Danny Langsdorff on that as well.
Yeah, it's like a 3-person partial credit. But I thought Tanner Lee stepped up in the pocket well. I thought he adjusted to pressure better than he has all year.
He definitely stuck in the pocket.
He had a lot better vision, I thought. Not the best. He still needs to work on it, but he at least showed a flash of one half of the hype that we had for him in the offseason.
Oh my gosh. Well, all right. Generally, I can say that he was, not overly impressive, but again, like you mentioned, probably solid enough for us to have a chance to win the game.
Yeah.
Moving into our next part, what we expected. For what I expected, I'm gonna go a little bit more on the other side. Wisconsin's dominance in the run game, and especially their ability to wear teams down.
Like every year. It's every year.
Oh, it just doesn't stop. I know everybody's kind of comparing them to the Nebraskas of old, and all the comments after the game that I saw were like, "Man, that's what we used to do to teams," and wow, they're just looking like
wrong.
the '90s Nebraska team.
Not wrong.
No, not wrong at all, but the sheer power of their offensive line just completely wear down our defense. And again, I want to take some blame off the defense because our offense ran 6 plays in the entire fourth quarter. Your defense can't be out there for that long.
No.
Wisconsin had like 9 and 8-minute drives on our defense. There's no way you can stop that. And just you can't be out there for that long and expect to stop.
Jonathan Taylor's great. He's fantastic. He's another absolutely incredible Wisconsin running back.
Great Wisconsin running back, but again, it starts up front. It starts up front with their offensive line. They move people, they protect their quarterback, and they make room for their running back, much of like what Nebraska used to do, and much of what Nebraska needs to get back to if we're going to expect to compete in this league.
I don't know if it's what we have to get back to exactly, but it'd be nice.
Yeah, I mean, not exactly carbon copy of what you're seeing with Wisconsin, but just being able to move the pile a little bit, get a push off the line. Again, Zigbo had 112 yards. So many of those came from breaking tackles and pushing the pile on his own because he's getting hit at the one yard after the line of scrimmage or something.
Yeah,
Jonathan Taylor wasn't getting hit until probably 4 or 5 yards off the line of scrimmage. Our safeties led the team in tackles. Yeah. He was getting to that second and third level almost every time they snapped the ball.
We're gonna get to why he was able to do that in a little bit, but Jonathan Taylor and the offensive line, they're just very impressive. As for what I thought was as expected, can I say the inconsistency of our wide receiving core, Stanley Morgan Jr., DPE, where do they go? Where they just disappear?
I don't know. I mean, Morgan had a pretty good game. Most of it coming off that one big catch.
He's the leading receiver of the Big Ten.
Really?
Yeah, 510 yards.
5 touchdowns too, not bad.
Yeah.
But has that fumble late in the game, very costly.
Come on, Stanley.
A lot of people will put the end of the game on that. There's no way you can do that.
We weren't going to march down the field regardless, I don't think.
I don't know, but again, regardless, it's not something you can have happen. From your star receiver, it's easy to see that the most consistent receiver is Spielman.
J.D. Spielman's so good.
I am a huge fan of J.D. Spielman. I'm really liking what I see. Great speed, great route running, and he just plays with such a tenacity. Like, he's going to go get the ball no matter what.
Yep.
He's only a redshirt freshman, so there's some freshman mistakes kind of his positioning on a couple passes I saw where he could probably step in front of the defender or maybe get around him a little bit better. But that just comes with time and running your routes a little bit more. But I can tell Tanner Lee's developed a good relationship with him. He might need that because you're right. Some of our other wide receivers, a lot of drops, a lot of inconsistencies.
I mean, you were talking about how Coach Dubb was talking to Stanley Morgan.
Yeah,
after the game.
I was walking by on the sideline after the game, and it was just Stanley and Coach Dubb sitting there having a heart-to-heart, and you could tell both of them were pretty disappointed, but you could really see it on Stanley's face. Not his night. I mean, he felt like he did everything he could, but that fumble was kind of weighing on him, and a couple other just rough passes.
I know, and I saw a couple posts on social media after the game that people were like, Stanley Morgan Jr. he doesn't care, he has no passion. It's like that's ridiculous. He's
not
just
at all.
But he puts a lot of time and effort, and I have faith in him that he can get to that receiver.
Yeah.
He still has one more year. He's just a junior.
No. So that's and I've been saying this for a while, but 2018 is going to be a very experienced Husker football team. The schedule is not favorable. We go to Michigan, to Ohio State, to Wisconsin, to Northwestern, to Iowa in conference play. But we have a very experienced team coming back next year. Majority of our offensive linemen, Tanner Lee most likely, all of our receivers except for DeMornay, all of our running backs, majority of our defense. And then we'll need a new kicker. Which that'll be tough because Drew is almost money.
Almost.
Missed that tough one early on in the game, but regardless, I don't know. The wide receiver core, again, I can see where we need to improve there. They need more, I don't know if it's more confidence. I mean, a very swaglacious group. I mean.
I'm done. Stop. Stop talking.
No. Hey, you can't mute. No.
Yeah, I muted him. So.
Hey, put me back on. You can't mute me.
I just did. Okay.
Just a group with a lot of swagger, a lot of confidence, but they don't always produce.
No.
So that's something to look forward to.
They can get it figured out. I'm confident. They have the talent to figure it out.
Oh, for sure. It's just got to bring it together.
All right, so now let's get to our negatives.
Oh,
Alex?
Honestly, I think it's just the astonishing lack of ability to just take advantage of so many opportunities. It's a long spiel there and kind of worded weirdly, but there were so many opportunities in my eyes for Nebraska just to take over this game and finish it off. Like early in the first drive of the game, we marched straight down the field. Wisconsin did not stop us. Zig's getting like 6 yards of carry. We had a couple good pass plays over the middle. And then 3rd and 2, we're sitting at our 17-yard line, and we pull out my least favorite play in college football. And
the bubble screen?
The stupid bubble screen on the right side. Come on. You can't throw that on 3rd and 2 inside your 20. It's too easy to read. If they read it, they're either going to pick it or they're going to come tackle the guy because our receivers are not the best at blocking on the edge.
No.
They're not like they used to be with Quincy Enunwa and Kenny Bell.
Yeah.
So we don't have the best blockers on the edge. And then you're expecting your running back just to catch a very quick pass with his head turning around quick.
And especially when it's Divine Ozigbo, he's not a pass-catching back.
No. If you're going to run that, Mikhail's injured, so you just don't run that play.
You just don't run it.
Mikhail is the clear pass option back. Zig is the power runner. You don't try to throw a swing pass there.
You give the ball to Divine Ozigbo, who had gotten 35 yards that entire drive, and say, get 3 yards.
Seriously. And if not, I mean, you settle for a field goal on your first drive.
It's fine.
Not terrible.
It's fine.
But it's fine. Yeah.
It's fine.
It's points, and we got a lead. We showed we can drive on them.
Make them have to answer.
Yes, exactly. You can't put it in their hands. You just can't kill yourself and shoot yourself in the foot like we constantly do. I don't know how many seasons I've seen of any team where they start so many games with a pick six. Like this has to be some sort of record.
This is what three games?
Three games with a pick six to open our drives. It's 21 points to the other team that we didn't even that they didn't even earn. They just kind of handed to them, basically, because they had open. There was nobody behind them to just go for defense. Again, that's kind of why we said it's a three-way blame. Zigbo should have caught it. Lee probably shouldn't have thrown that ball, but he was told to because of the dumb play calling by Langsdorff.
Yeah. It's rough.
I mean, that's just one of the opportunities. Again, like my other big one, we get the big touchdown to Stanley Morgan right before halftime. We're down by 3. It's looking good. It's 10-7. Very next play, defense gives up a 75-yard run, almost untouched, to Jonathan Taylor, and they go back up 10 at the half. Why? You can't focus in for just like a couple plays. They have a minute left.
They were gonna run it.
They were gonna run the ball and probably go into halftime and be like, okay, guys, we need to regroup. We gave up a big play. Let's regroup a little bit.
Yeah, we get the ball back.
They had the ball second half. They were probably gonna run. They might have tried to go downfield a little bit with the play action the next play, but to give up a 75-yard run right out the gate, you lose momentum. And then in the second half, Aaron Williams, pick 6, ties it up at 17, and then on the ensuing kickoff, Wisconsin gets a couple penalties, and they're sitting at their 7-yard line. That is the most opportune time to just, I don't care if you get a safety or if you make a stop, an interception again, or fumble, just make some sort of stop on this drive, and you have so much more momentum. You have the entire stadium of 90,000 people behind you. You can end this game.
Yep. And they just couldn't do it.
They give up a 93-yard drive. Wisconsin drives right down the field.
It was like butter. It was just gains of 6, 7, 10.
Yep. They had a couple third downs that just our corners weren't in the right position. I saw Lamar Jackson trip on one of the third downs, so it was an easy pass over the middle. And then the touchdown pass, Eric Lee flat on his face watching the guy catch the ball. I mean, you got to take advantage of those opportunities, especially against a team like Wisconsin.
Yeah, they're a team that won't let you go if you make mistakes.
No,
they
not at all.
They don't make mistakes. They barely make mistakes.
They very rarely make mistakes, but in this game, they made a ton of mistakes. They had more penalties than I've seen them make in so long.
Well, they had 5 penalties in the first quarter, and they averaged about 5 penalties per game.
Yeah, I mean, and again, they're putting themselves in multiple holes. Nebraska just has to be able to step up, make a stop, and take the momentum of the game full force, and just go win it. I mean, I think I counted at least 2 or 3 other opportunities for Nebraska just to get a little bit more momentum and maybe tip this game in our favor.
Yeah.
And that kind of, again, goes to the lack of offensive production in the first half.
Yep.
You can't keep stalling on drives. You can't waste drives with bad play calling or bad throws or drop passes. You got to finish.
Yep.
And that's what our team lacks.
Yeah, and I'll go with you. That probably is about what I would say. Both your needs improvement and your average is kind of what I was about to say with our depth and our D line and how they just kind of got worn down. So it's just a rough loss. And for some, it might not be getting better. Next week's game, we play the Ohio State University Buckeyes.
Why?
6:00 this Saturday. Alex, any thoughts about the Ohio State Buckeyes?
Well, last time they came to Lincoln, Nebraska came back for the largest comeback in school history.
The Joe Bowserman passing chart?
That and Levante David just saved our butts, along with Rex Burkhead. Sadly, those players are in the NFL and cannot help us. So it's going to be up to Tanner Lee, Devine Zigbo, and our current defense. This does not look good. I am the most optimistic person on the face of this planet, and this 4.6% chance that ESPN gives us, it looks really good for me. But honestly, this could be a very, very bad game at home.
The over-under is 24. I kind of want to take the over.
Oh, gosh, don't do that to me.
I kind of want to take the over. What even is there to say about Ohio State? JT Barrett, we kind of ragged on him after they lost to Oklahoma, but he's actually bounced back quite a bit.
As he usually does. Again, I mean, they haven't faced the stiffest of competition since then, and they had a bye week in there. So, I mean, he's got over 1,500 yards on the season, 64% roughly completion percentage.
J.K. Dobbins might be better than Jonathan Taylor. That might be the problem.
Really? You think so?
He might be. I don't know if he is or not, but he's certainly a very similar player.
Oh, for sure.
And will gash us in a very similar way.
I think part of that is more so with the offensive line. Wisconsin's offensive line is a step above almost probably anybody in the nation comparatively to Alabama.
Yeah, but I think the thing that worries me the most about Ohio State is their defense. Their defensive front is fantastic.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Lee's going to be under heat and bombardment all game long.
Yeah, Jerome Baker, Malik Harrison, Tyquan Lewis.
Bosa number 2.
What?
Bosa number 2. They got Joey's younger, or is it Joey? Or no, Joey's the one in the NFL, so he's got the younger brother, whatever his name is. Nick Bosa.
Nick Bosa.
Nick Bosa,
He has 4 sacks on the year.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he's going to man-hit, and he usually plays on the left end, so whether it's Hymus or David Neville coming back from injury, he's going to manhandle both of them. So, again, it's much like the Wisconsin game. The key for Nebraska is establish a run game and stick with it. Don't try to get too fancy and creative on offense. I think that's what hurt us at times. Nebraska, we had so many drives just stall, and it's right in that 33 to 45 yard on the other side, on the good side of the 50.
Yeah.
That's where they all stall. I cannot count how many times we've stalled on drives there this season. And I feel like Drew has the leg, but we probably don't have the blocking to let him kick that. And then if he does happen to miss, then we're giving up a short field for our defense. But Caleb Lightbourne's been good. He's been pitting them deep. But again, that's regardless whether that's not going to get you points. No matter how many times you pin them in the 2, it's not going to get you points because you keep stopping and stalling drives right at that 40-yard line.
Ohio State offensive weapons, they worry me.
Oh, gosh.
JT Barrett is a good player. J.K. Dobbins is a...
Do you remember last year when they just threw the ball all over the place?
And that was with a better secondary than we have now.
This was a much better secondary. And see, the thing with Wisconsin and Ohio State, the big difference between them is Wisconsin's going to eventually, they'll just run the ball and they'll run the clock out because they want to just win the game, and they'll show they're better, but they're not going to make a fool out of you.
Urban Meyer will beat you by 50.
He'll beat everybody by 50 to prove a point.
I kind of don't blame him for that. I really don't blame him for that. It's when you're a team that's looking to make the college football playoffs, you kind of have to show your resume every
you
single
want to
game.
beef up the resume, but no, Ohio State's not going to stop coming after Nebraska.
No.
And JT Barrett has a lot of offensive weapons to go to. Apart from, J.K. Dobbins looks great. They still have Mike Weber. Don't forget about him. They still have Mike Weber. They have Campbell and so many other great wide receivers. Their defense is very fast to the ball, especially that secondary. They lost Malik Hooker. They lost
so many players to the secondary, and they're back to being pretty good.
Yeah, it
took a Heisman caliber player in Baker Mayfield to tear them apart, and they haven't looked that bad since.
No, they're 17 in the nation in pass defense. Remember earlier in the season, they were next to last with us.
Yeah.
And they've cut that down. Granted, their last 2 opponents have been Rutgers and Maryland.
Yes.
So a little bit skewed, but still, only getting up 170 through the air. I don't know. This is, again, I'm the biggest optimist, and I think I will give every reason why Nebraska could and will win this game. But this does not look good.
It doesn't.
It's, especially with our team, it's such a delicate point. It's like they need to come together now and make a stand. Otherwise, the season's going down pretty quickly.
It could get really bad, really fast, and that's what I'm worried about.
Yeah, and at home too, it's not what you like. Fans are not going to be happy.
At
with
least
that.
it's on Fox Sport 1, so nobody's going to watch it.
That helps. That helps.
Fox Sport 1, if you want to hire me still, I'm free.
I
What do you think the score is going to be?
Well, Nebraska's going to win, obviously.
Okay.
We can do it.
Okay.
Upset City, We'll go
Mike Riley special?
Mike Riley special. Pull out some crazy 31-28 victory.
Okay.
I'll give Drew Brown he'll fix it. He'll come get the game winner for us.
Ohio State 49, Nebraska 20.
Realistically, I agree with that. Maybe Nebraska 14.
Yeah, 40, 49, 14, 49, 20, something like that.
I don't know. This could be a rough week, Husker fans.
It could be a very rough week. Next, when we come back we're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, we're going to do a little something fun. We're going to do a little grab bag of topics from each of us. You've been listening to Second String. Keep tuning in.
Today in school, I learned a lot. In chemistry, I learned that no one likes me. In biology, I learned that I'm fat and stupid. In English, I learned that I'm disgusting. And in gym, I learned that I'm pathetic and a joke. The only thing I didn't learn in school today is why no one ever helps.
Kids witness bullying every day. They want to help, but they don't know how. Teach them how to stop bullying and be more than a bystander at stopbullying.gov. A message from the Ad Council.
Check out my new time machine.
Does it work?
Hit the button.
Hey, it's Napoleon.
Oui. Check out the future.
Hey, you have a nice house. Why don't I?
You didn't save any money, buddy.
If only there was a way I could go back in time and fix that.
Yeah.
Save something for the future. Put away a few bucks, feel like $1 million. For free ways to save, go to feedthepig.org. That's feedthepig.org.
This message brought to you by the American Institute of Certified Public Accountants and the Ad Council.
Hello and welcome back to the Second String. I'm Emil Bach with Alex Fernando. Now, because the slate of college football games, I think, is less than stellar, there's no ranked matchups this week.
You got the Red River rivalry, though.
I don't want to talk about the Red River rivalry.
Yeah, I mean, it's always a good game. Oklahoma coming off that loss, they could be kind of upset. Might bring it to Texas, but Texas
I think they will. Texas is a good team, though.
Texas is back, Nate. Remember?
No, stop. But anyway, we thought we'd do something a little bit more fun, a little bit more entertaining for you guys for the last 15 minutes of the show. We're gonna do grab bag questions. We're each just gonna toss out some questions. Neither of us have heard what the other has been thinking about so far.
Oh boy!
But they could be funny. They could be serious. We'll both discuss them.
Nate,
so
you want to kick us off?
Yeah, sure. I'll go with a nice serious one so far. Who's your Heisman favorite so far?
Well, heading into the week, much like everybody else, it's Saquon Barkley, but Northwestern's defense, who have been very impressive, like under the radar impressive. They held Jonathan Taylor to 80 a week ago. They held Barkley to 75 this week. So, I mean, again, Barkley is still probably my favorite, but the name to watch, and it's going to be much like we had a couple years ago, Bryce Love at Stanford, kind of like Christian McCaffrey at Stanford. McCaffrey broke every record possible. He broke the NCAA record for all-purpose yards in a season, but got snuffed by Derrick Henry at Alabama because he's a Bama running back and he broke an SEC record. So Bryce Love is one to watch. Barkley's probably still my favorite. I mean, dude's an all-around athlete and just phenomenal player for the Nittany Lions. But Bryce Love, out in the West Coast, leading Stanford, kind of coming back with their season. Great running back. Could cause some heads to turn.
I'm going to go on the Barkley train. I'm still on it.
Still on that? Okay.
It's an 88-yard gain. He didn't have a terrible game.
Oh, no, not a bad game. He had a couple TDs. He broke it open late. I'm just saying, watch out for Northwestern's defense. I just want to throw a little plug in there. I mean, they're playing pretty good football.
Saquon Barkley, he's a man.
Oh, my gosh.
A Heisman.
Watch out for Bryce Love, though. I'm telling you, this could be year of the running back, I think. Mayfield and Barrett.
Maybe.
They're obviously probably the two front runners for quarterback. Darnold has kind of fallen off since their loss. I don't know what other quarterback, like Luke Falk maybe, but I don't know. This could be the year of the running back again.
We'll see. I'm still on the Barkley trade.
All right.
Alex, what's your first question?
Who is your dark horse playoff team?
Dark horse playoff team. I got to think about this. I don't know if I'd call them dark horse since they're ranked very, very highly, but how about Miami?
Miami. Really? Any reasoning behind that?
They play a very easy schedule, in my opinion. They exercise some demons. I think they play Virginia Tech, who's going to be a tough game.
They do get them at home, though.
But they get them at home.
They get Georgia Tech at home.
They get Georgia Tech at home. The rest of their schedule's not super impressive.
Notre Dame at home.
Yeah. It's not an easy road for the Miami Hurricanes. But I think for a team that's fairly undefeated, I think they have a good a shot as any. They have a good a shot as like Notre Dame does. They have a good a shot as, say, TCU does, in my opinion. If you're looking for a true dark horse candidate, I think that's kind of what you're looking for.
Okay. My team, I know I've been kind of on them the last couple weeks, but the Cougs, man. Wazoo. It's hard to trust Mike Leach and his teams, but they're playing really good football right now. And again, the thing that surprises me most is they're playing better defense. They have not had this much success on defense in I don't know how long. They have much more consistency. Luke Falk is already at 2,000 yards passing, 19 touchdowns, only a couple picks. So, I don't know. They have a fairly easy schedule as well. They're on the road at Cal this week, but they get Colorado at home, Stanford at home. Toughest one is going to be the rivalry, Apple Cup. That one's going to be on the road at Washington, but they have a good chance of being undefeated. Stanford's going to be a tricky game at home with that run game and Bryce Love, but Hercules Mataafa, mostly because I'm scared of him. That's why I'm saying that I want them to be a dark horse team, because he just sounds like he's gonna
eat you.
He's gonna find me and he's gonna eat me if I say they're not a dark horse playoff team.
Dude's good.
He is very good. If you have not gotten the chance, watch number 50 on defense for the Washington State Cougars.
All right. How about my next question? Outside of Butch Jones, who is the champion of life?
Oh my gosh, this is a stretch. I don't know. Can I go Orgeron?
Sure.
He's a champion of life. He comes into the swamp, beats Florida, kind of gets LSU to calm down a little bit. Again, we were kind of bashing on him last week, and I still don't think he's the best hire for LSU, but he's saving his job right now.
Somehow.
I really don't know how.
We thought they weren't gonna win another game, but apparently Florida's just that bad.
Yeah,
maybe Florida's the real champion of life.
Florida just suspends half their team, so that's why they're the champions of life. But I mean, LSU, they're saving their coach at the moment. They have a tough game. Let's see, who do they have this weekend? I can't quite remember.
It's
they got Auburn coming on the road.
They're gonna get smoked.
They're at home, but Auburn coming in. Yeah, that's gonna be tough. So
Edo, champion of life.
I'll give Edo champion of life this week. He saved his job.
How about this? Gary Anderson, champion of life.
Oh yeah, okay. Can I switch mine? We were just talking about this before my show. I love him.
Dude, his quote was insane. So if you didn't know, Gary Anderson was the former coach for Oregon State. He quit. He quit, which is weird. He didn't retire. He quit.
Yeah,
he went to the Oregon State athletic director and said, "You know what? I'm done." And you know what? I'm done is I'm just going to leave all my money and my contract on the table. I'm free. You don't have to pay me anymore.
$12.5 million.
I don't get it.
I don't get it either. I'm sorry. Like, just get fired and get your package. Like, get paid. Why not? I don't know if that's his agent kind of making a dumb move
you don't know
or
why?
something, but
because he's a life champion.
Oh, that's why. Okay.
He cares about those kids. He's a life champion, Alex.
Oh my goodness.
All right, Alex, what's your next question?
Oh man. Let's see. How about who has been your favorite player to watch this season? Not Heisman caliber. Just like under the radar, nobody kind of knows who he is, but he's playing well.
Oh boy.
It could be a team or like their offense or defensive side too.
I like Dwayne Gaskin from Washington.
Gaskin?
He is fast. Dude is a speed demon.
Okay. What is that? Wide receiver, running back? Or?
He's a running back for Washington.
You mean Myles Gaskin?
Myles Gaskin. I thought it was Dwayne Gaskin. Apologies. I don't. I'm the champion of life. You should have said me. You should have said my name. But yeah, Myles Gaskin for Washington. He's a speed demon. He's so fast. He's a home run threat at every level, and I've just been very impressed when I've watched Washington play. What about you?
Man, this is tough. I can't even answer my own question. I will have to go with just the Purdue offense.
Okay.
I mean, haven't been overly impressive, but better than normal Purdue, and I just really also want to say boiler up on the radio.
Stop.
So-
Do not do this.
Boiler up, Nate. Come on.
Next question. So I'm going to read you this headline, and you're going to tell me who comes off as worse. Josh Gordon says that Baylor coaches helped him pass drug tests.
What?
Who's worse in this situation, Josh Gordon or the Baylor coaches?
Well, probably the Baylor coaches. I mean, we already know that they were pretty bad to begin with. I'll go Baylor coaches on that.
Josh Gordon, man.
No.
He loves that marijuana.
I mean, yeah. I mean, you can't do that stuff regardless. But if they're gonna help him, like, pass so he can get through and keep playing, that's just wrong.
Yeah. Okay. True.
That's jeopardizing the integrity of the game. And I mean, you're a coach because you want the right guys on your team and you want to make sure they're making the right decisions. So you put the guys who aren't making those decisions, you put them off the field.
Yes. I believe, Baylor coaches, that's a mistake. You help those young men out.
Now, what about Baylor coaches versus the Miami Dolphins ex-offensive line coach?
You know, I don't really know if I want to get into this. Probably the Baylor coaches.
Still, yeah.
I don't recommend anybody watch that video, the Miami Dolphins coach. I watched it, and I was like, nope, I didn't need to see this.
Yeah, that was pretty bad. Again, kind of like most all the other broadcasters I saw, I've never seen anything like that in any kind of major sport right now.
Yeah, it's certainly crazy. So, Alex, next question.
Oh my gosh, you're throwing them hardballs at me. I don't know. Do you have any big upset picks this week? We had Iowa State over Oklahoma. Anything crazy? We got a couple ranked teams on the road. So.
How about? Oh boy, this is tough. Is Texas beating Oklahoma an upset?
Sure.
I think they have as good a shot as any.
Yeah.
I mean, is West Virginia beating Texas Tech an upset? I don't think so.
No, not really.
How about Rutgers at Illinois? Who's the better team, Rutgers or Illinois?
Oh God, why is this the question?
I'm not asking you this question. How about this? Why do the Bears suck so much in the NFL?
The Bears, they did better with Mitch at quarterback, but still.
Mitch looked like a rookie.
Yeah, he looked like a rookie. Overall, they're just not a good team. Not a lot of consistency. I don't know. It's going to be a long season for the Bears.
Yes. Alex, you got a question for me?
Who's the best team in the NFL? We'll switch over to pro football a little bit.
Kansas City. That's easy.
That's right. They're looking good.
They did it. Who's worse? Blake Bortles
or the Chargers? The Chargers are much worse than Blake Bortles.
No, no, they're not. Blake Bortles or Eli Manning? Who's worse?
Bortles by far. Manning has nowhere to throw to. All of his wide receivers are dead. They're buried in the ground 5 feet under with broken ankles on all of them.
I'm going to read you real fast the New York Giants starting receivers, if I could find it. I read this on social media. Let me see if I can't see it real fast. But it's like Brandon Marshall's done for the season. Odell Beckham is done for the season.
Yeah.
Here, Giants wide receiver corps on Sunday could be, raise your hand if you know these names. I actually just say something if you know these names. Roger Lewis.
Nope.
Tavares King.
I've heard of Tavares King. I can't remember the school at the moment, but
Travis Rudolph. I know the name.
Yep.
Ed Egan.
Nope.
Ed Egan.
Where are they pulling these guys from? Like,
I don't know. The practice squad.
Giants are in for a very rough year. Those injuries were brutal. Hopefully, speedy recovery for those guys. Also, speedy recovery to J.J. Watt. That was not fun to watch. That broken leg early in the game. All
right, last funny question that I want to ask. Right. The Fired Football Coaches Association, the FFCA, was founded in 2008 by what coach, Alex? Can you answer this? It's a very popular, very well-known coach.
Oh, gosh. 2008?
Yes.
Is it a pro or college?
Pro. He's a pro coach.
Okay.
He's very well-known.
Oh, man.
He's very eccentric.
I'm drawing a blank.
His favorite food is a fruit. His favorite animal is an arachnid.
Dang it! No, I know this crap.
His favorite letter comes before the letter Z. His favorite play is Spider 2 Wide Banana.
John Gruden.
Yes.
He founded that?
Yes, he most certainly did. All right.
On that note, I think that's probably good for our show. Ended with John Gruden, my goodness.
All right. That is enough for us at the Second String. I'm Nate Muehlbach with my co-host, Alex Fernando. We're good to be here. We're coming at you every Tuesday from 7 to 8 with your latest college football news, your games from last week, your Husker news, your games from this week. It was a good show, and hope you'll keep tuning in to us next week. Have a good one, guys.
Get ready for the upset. Go Big Red.